I just had I just had a full face of makeup on. Looking real cute, but I'm still cute, you know what I'm saying? But if you've been watching my content and stuff like that, especially the previous SNR message, I believe, the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because I was talking about the spiritual attacks that have been happening since August. One thing I haven't spoke about is about, besides the people I previously mentioned or people I was talking about. Now, in the previous, in July, it's about July 23rd, is very significant. Also, July 26th is when I believe that the assault had happened, where I was assaulted by like a Gemini woman. God told me that the woman was possessed. Don't interact with her. Don't whatever the case may be. And one of the reasons why the scenario happened, cause what happened was the previous ex-lover that had Virgo. Previous ex-lover had Virgo. Basically how the assault happened. Basically, he didn't do it, but he had a friend. Aquarius embodiment, Virgo embodiment, Virgo's mother figure, right? You see how I just started doing that? Because this right here, because somebody didn't want me to speak about this. Mind, this doesn't have, this has like a moral to the message, and this is very impromptu, because I'm trying to see something. Because after that assault, there was nothing wrong with my face. Then, sometime in August, this stuff started happening to my face, and as of recent, like, it looked like I had a couple days, look, I had a black eye. And even when I was assaulted, my face was perfectly fine. Then the next month, all of a sudden, my face started looking like, you got this. And I just thought, like, all right, maybe it's because, like, I like maybe it's like something in regards to like Hinduism or something like that. I was like, so maybe the person who's doing that is like me. And then like the assault stuff like that. Now, for the previous year or two, maybe even longer than that, you know, there's this like children's clothing store. I can't shop there as a mother anymore because you know, like it's for like younger kids. Um, and I always know there's a woman that was working there, and she was going through domestic violence and stuff like that, and she always had like these black eyes, like she used to have like two black eyes. God forbid my life. And that was one of the main reasons why I stopped shopping there because like, I didn't want to purchase anything that would, you know, in regards to alcohol. This is about to be one of ones, like this is about to be a message, and I'm gonna come back and tell you what the results of this message is going to be. Because I continue to tell God I'm not taking part in nobody's burden. Kylie Parker X1M just retracted their message in the comment section. Something about a scary ass bitch. The only reason why I bring up this song is why it's so significant. Excuse me, significant. It's because let's talk. So who was there for the song? All right, let's get to it because this is some like private investigation, spiritual investigation type shit. Because God was talking to me throughout the whole scenario leading up to the assault and after. So the Virgo mother figure is a guy, but like in this scenario, I'm talking in regards to symbolism. The Virgo that symbolizes mother figure invited their friend Gemini, and then after everything was said and done, I did this person's birth chart. The Gemini moon sign mother figure Cancer. So two mother figures, right? And we're going to symbolic, right? Their moon sign is Pisces 12th house. And when a person attacked me, it's usually like My face has nothing to do. Oh, you want to know about North Star? Oh, beautiful. All right, North Star 1334. I'm gonna do an upcoming message in regards of how to undo your enemies using the elements. So stay tuned for that. This is not the message for Hey Tomas 78 126. So stay tuned for my upcoming messages. Honest to God, I know that I knew when the assault had happened on July 26th, 2025, that something in regards of divination was at work or black arts or something like that, because it is now December, and it's like when certain scenarios play in a loop, it keep coming in your mind like in a loop. That means you like God is trying to show you something, because something not right. Somebody trying to keep doing the same thing, just like Tomas just in the comment section just tried to say hey to me for 2 times. I don't do spiritual marriages, by the way. Anyways, so the Virgo, symbolic of a mother sign, that's my ex-partner. And then he invited his friend who was a Gemini, who moon sign, maternal zodiac embodiment is Cancer, Virgo Cancer, like two metaphors. But the moon sign was in Pisces 12th house. 12th house is in regards to undoing an enemy. So Pisces embodiment has to do a lot with pleasures. So like, why that person assaulted me, it's like this person didn't want me to have. And one of the things I like to let you know, mind you, everything on my face is like based on someone trying to do like spell work on me. But my whole thing is like, and I didn't really want it to come down to this, the only person who can legit do spell work towards me in this type of demeanor has to be somebody who's related to me by blood. There is no person on this earth that would have the ability to touch me like this. God upon my life. But you know, while things were happening, I didn't put two and two together like that. So right here is where the Gemini woman, unrelated, had assaulted me. She had assaulted me, and like I had scratches on my neck. She tried to attack my head. Head is in zodiac embodiment of Sagittarius. My ability to teach, think, to formulate these messages. I knew instantly when the only marking that from the altercation was literally like I would show you on camera, but like it would be like it looked like somebody stabbed me, and like on the buttocks when I had fell during the altercation. And you know, I have that pun on words in regards to American Heritage Society ass, you know, the buttocks, and then like the throat chakra, Mercury placement, no negativity, my ability to speak, think, to formulate these messages. I knew it was like an attack on my business. Now I'm gonna go like now. The reason why I'm reiterating this is because symbolically, spiritually, there's more to the scenario, and I've known this is what I keep talking about until we get to the correct answer. Because God was speaking to me before the assault, during the assault, after the assault. God. So what happened was the Virgo I previously was dating offered a drink to the Gemini. Before I even say that embodiment of Pisces is in regards to your pleasures. So 12th house is in regards to undoing enemies. Moon sign, that 12th house placement that Gemini had, is in regards to a mother figure undoing their enemies. And since she was assaulting me, and I was a mother figure. I said was, excuse my language, she was a mother figure. No, I'm a mother figure who another mother figure tried to assault me with a Pisces 12th house to undo the enemies, but I didn't do nothing to that person. And 12th house is in regards Pisces placement is in regards to your pleasures. So the person wanted to undo something that makes me happy, and one of the things that made me happy is being in my calling and my destiny and doing these messages that I literally sat for 2 years and listened to God tell me do this, do that, do this, do that, do this, do that. To this day, in regards to every message I does, like I continue to do, God is literally leading me every time I do a message for y'all. So let's go back to symbolic narration of what happened, because there's more to the scenario. It's more than the people. It's more than the person that assaulted me. It's like there's something in spiritual context, because you gotta understand, like just like God can send people, angels of the angelic realm to body jump into certain people to do something to your enemy. The enemy kind of can do something similar to that too, and we rebuke it in the name of God. That's why that when that woman assaulted me, there was nothing she did that physically harmed me besides just scratching my neck, and everything else was just like because we were on the ground. And even I understood while we was on the ground, that was the earth embodiment. And if you know what the embodiments are for each earth sign, then you can kind of put two and two together. So, what I recall is that the Virgo return. We're talking in regards to symbology. The Virgo offered the Gemini a drink. The Gemini, I got the notion of either don't drink like that or didn't want to drink. The person basically told the person didn't want to drink. The Virgo insisted that the person got to drink in regards to some sort of peer pressure. So the person took the drink. Then the person started, behaving differently. No negativity on my life. So I asked the Gemini a question. Gemini, ability to communicate, right? I have a prominent Gemini placement. Even more so than the Gemini that I had a conversation with. Asked a straightforward question, very polite. Wasn't trying to offend. And in that moment that person started acting belligerent, God told me that the person was possessed. Don't interact with the person they're possessed. Even the Virgo that I previously was dating tried to get me out of the scenario, because I don't know with that person's spiritual hour, they just didn't want to see me in that type of scenario. I'm too pretty for that. Honestly, the other person was very pretty, so it was just like they shouldn't even been acting like that. But once again, God told me the person was possessed in that moment. Now, before that conversation happened, there was another conversation that happened. So, if you've been watching my content for a while, you know that I have wrote a book based on what I encountered in adolescence and up until now. Very straightforward book. I took the book down. I still have it. And I feel like the reason I took the book down is because like it was like a binding spell of like a trauma bond, and it's like God forbid, or somebody didn't want that information to get out. And I'm correct. It's a mother figure. So there was a discussion with me and the Gemini, the friend of the Virgo, who I'm not even gonna hold you. So basically, the conversation went like this. I don't really remember how we got into the conversation on July 26th, 2025. But I told that woman in confidence, not in secret. Yes, there was people around. This is not something I would be shy or scared to say to anybody or the person themselves. I told that female, I believe that my mother is afraid of me. And the Gemini had took offense. The Gemini woman had took offense to what I had said, and because it was without context, and she was like, what any sane person would do would be like, no, your mother probably, and no, she probably feel like, and I said with certainty, I said no. My mother is afraid of me, and that is why I wrote a book. And she told that Gemini woman had told me I would like to read that book. Almost in a like, you didn't write a book about this, and I don't know what to believe. I don't really know you, you know. And I could have been offended in that moment, but I wasn't because I understood that everybody doesn't have that experience where they have a parent that, you know, doesn't have their best interests at heart, you know, or didn't actually. I'll say that. And that conversation is what made her belligerent when I asked her another question that had nothing to do with the conversation we had previously. God was telling me that she has some sort of family dynamic or something going on in regards to the maternal figures in her life, where what I said triggered her. So regardless of what the second conversation I had with her previously was on July 26, 2025, she was taking out her frustrations on me, and she had let the enemy, you know, deceive her and take her as a vessel in that moment, and that's how she became possessed. You got to understand, even being a spiritualist to this extent, the ability to even be hearing conversation from God, having conversation with God as these things that happen in real life moments previously. But I mean, I have the gift, you know. Howsoever, there was, besides myself, there was a Taurus woman there, the Gemini woman that assaulted me, a Virgo man, a Taurus man. So altogether, including myself, was 5 people. Now, excluding myself, let's talk about the zodiac embodiments that were there in regard to the assault and viewing the assault. The Gemini was the one who assaulted me, the Gemini. The 3 people who witnessed were the only people there to witness what was going on when this all happened was a Virgo man, a Taurus man, and a Taurus woman. 2 Taurus placements, men and women, back to send this sickness and disease on my enemy. A Taurus man, a Taurus woman. Taurus is the embodiment of marriage. Then the partner was a Virgo, maternal figure. A married couple, you would think, just symbolically I'm talking, a married couple, something about a maternal mother figure. After, so, like a movie, some random guy, soon right after I picked up my belongings after the assault, I got up, picked up my belongings. I didn't say nothing to nobody. Somebody asked a question, I answered it for them. They didn't know what to say. I got so upset, but I was just like, you know what? I had took some good advice. The person told me, you know, some good advice. I took like 1 or 2 steps away from those people, and then this random guy pulled up in the vehicle. Said, "You good? Let me take you home." Mind you, it was like early in the morning. And I've been told by me God that, you know, you can receive a lot of, I know contrary to popular belief, that people be like, the witching hour and stuff like that. You think if the witches are up at the same time, you're not supposed to be up and praying and doing, and God is supposed to be blessing you at these hours either. Like, Also, I should say, like, the man God told me, like, you will see a lot of miracles during these hours, you know? You don't have to be a witch or warlock or a wizard. This man pulled up randomly, put me in his vehicle. Well, I put myself there. Excuse me, previously. Early in the morning, just a kind gesture, and he took me home. I was very, feeling some type of way then, but I comported myself, and I just knew, because I was just like, I had to go home and then explain to my family what had happened. Now, with context, I have not been the type of person that would take my burdens, my problems, and then go tell my family. Because usually I don't really find myself in problems. I don't usually put myself in issues. Um, Being the eldest child, I've always been able to handle any problems very quickly and dismantle them because of my upbringing. You know, my mother figure wasn't able to do that for me. My father figure wasn't around, like, physically growing up to help me. Like, he was in the household, though, like going to my mother for issues, I could never. Going to my father for issues, I could never. I always been able to handle things myself. So I had to comport myself and be like, dang, I gotta go in the house and explain why I look disheveled. You know what I'm saying? So I ain't really want to do that, but I was like, I'm always like I always known I'm the person that usually holds the family together, keeps things running smoothly. It got to a certain point where I was like, fuck all that shit, you know what I'm saying? But howsoever, for the betterment of myself, I learned who and who not, to keep the family together, even knowing what I know. Irregardless. I went in the house that day on July 26th, and to be honest, I have a sibling who I know, like, would have been on the type of time in that mind state to go handle what I needed handled in that moment. Luckily, she was asleep, taking a nap. So, I was able to realize, yeah, no, I'm tripping. I wasn't really tripping, but it was just like, we would just went and took a ride. Howsoever, the two people who were awake were my mother and my brother. My mother is an Aries, my brother is Sagittarius. That's 2 fire signs. Now, I very passionately, very straightforward, very in the moment of what had just happened, very in the feeling betrayed in a sense. You can put in context how I could have felt in that moment. And I was explaining what happened and also prophesying in front of my brother and my mother that, I knew it was the attack of the enemy, and there's something about, I said specifically, I said something about the enemy doesn't want the family to stay together, God forbid in my life. It wants to separate us and cause us to be isolated. And that's what I said. My brother, I kind of know, like, even him being younger than me, like, he don't usually see me act out in these type of scenarios. So I know, like, when he see me like that, he didn't really say much. But without him saying anything, he went to go do something. With a quickness. Never really knew what he did, but with a quickness, he went to go make a move. You know what I'm saying? So, I noticed that. My mother, however, as I was telling her what happened, how I was previously so distraught, my mother did something that she always does whenever something bad would happen previously to me. She smiled and she laughed. But I was so upset at the situation that I'm just like, this is regular. This always happens. She always finds humor in something happening to me. But like, I was just even rejoicing. I'm like, there's nothing wrong with my days. I'm like, you know, I just kept swinging. I just kept swinging. I guess we just kept swinging. I didn't even want to fight the person. And she was just laughing. And she was talking shit about the guy with Dane. And she was like, why would he allow that to happen? So like, and now, why did I bring this story up? Now I gotta do a quick summary, real quick. So, for a long time, it's wild. I even have to do this type of message. For a long time, 11 in the chat. I know I'm not true. For a long time, so I have an aunt. She's a Scorpio. Mind you, my mother's an Aries. Because it's like a spiritual court right now. For the longest time, my mother, who's the Aries, has been claiming that my aunt is a witch, and she's been out to get our family, and that she's evil, and that she be bewitching items and trying to give it to the family. She's claimed that she has tried to poison my father numerous times via food. And at the moment now, so I'm gonna give you a quick example. So like, no, so with all this context, and mind you, we all live together my whole life. Huh? Now for a long time, I had the notion of, all right, maybe everybody's being cordial while knowing this piece of information. If it was me, you be out in fucking Dodge. Me knowing some shit like that. Against me and my family, that bitch would been gone. Mind you, my family owned the home. Not the aunt. Now, and we're gonna get to the bottom of it because either my aunt or my mother, the one that been trying to sense things, but we're gonna get to the bottom of this and send it back to the correct person. They're gonna be walking around smelling like mold for the rest of their life. Now, I had to, and from my perspective, you know, it never really made sense my whole life because I always, even from a youngin', the way they talk about my aunt, it makes her to be an evil person, whether she is or not. It never made sense to me, like, why everybody was all kumbaya with somebody that supposedly doing all this bad stuff, right? So I had the notion, all right, maybe because my sisters, I use my language, maybe because my mother sibling, her brother, is married to my aunt. Maybe because of the marriage, maybe because my aunt being married into the family, maybe that's why she's playing kumbaya. I can get into more details, but I'm trying to summarize as quickly as I can. So I was like, all right, maybe the reason everybody's kumbaya was the supposed wish in the family, my aunt, the Scorpio, is because she's married to my mother's brother, and that's who she chose. That's who he chose. So for years now, supposedly my mother, specifically my parents, have been running around trying to unalive spiritually my aunt. You know, when I say unalive, I mean like, cause I get, I don't want to say political with y'all, but you know, go to church and pray the wish away. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still in my 20s, so it's just like, dang, like, either somebody's lying, Y'all not doing what y'all saying y'all supposed to do, or God not hearing y'all prayers. So, I'm just like, and now with context, this is all hearsay because I've never actually seen with my own eyes my aunt do anything evil, malicious to any of these people. These are all like, we got a spiritual message. Let me not do the thing. They said they got a spiritual message that she would do all these things. It was always they got a spiritual message doing all like this aunt, this supposed witch was doing all these evil things, right? Now, for many years, I stayed out of it because, from my perspective, my aunt, there was a time in my life where my mother, for whatever reason, told me and my other sibling to go live with my aunt. Didn't come check in on us. I mean, if she's a supposed witch, why would you just willingly give her your children? A child you carry your womb for 9 months, you just gonna willingly give to a witch. Mind you, at the time, my uncle was traveling back and forth, so he'd be gone for a year, 6 months to a year to years at a time out of the country. So at the time, we were just living with the aunt by herself. My mother would never, not once, come down, come see how we're doing, nothing. My aunt never had children, like biological children, because she never conceived children. So she never mind, from my perspective, like, watching over us. My aunt watched over us, gave us employment, and like, and I'm not even trying to be funny, not the, oh yeah, come work for me, I'm gonna give you like $10-15 a day. Like, like how sometimes grown up they think like, because you're a kid, they give you like chump change. My aunt used to give us real salary. No negativity. She used to give us what her actual employee in the beginning. My aunt used to take us to luxury malls and luxury name brand places and buy us like hundreds of dollars worth of clothing. My aunt used to teach us how to learn real life skills. So like, to me, I never understood the correlation of how she was a bad person, but because your mother tell you so, you just listen, and your body. My aunt used to buy us things, and soon she would buy us things, we'd be so excited about it. And then if my mother would find out, the Aries, by the way, she would say, oh, let me pray over it because she bewitching this stuff and this and that. She didn't have a problem with us having it. She would just want to pray over it. And this is the one scenario. This is what prompted me to do this message. My aunt 1 year for Christmas purchased a luxury handbag for my mother. I'm not gonna say what kind of handbag it was. Just know it was a luxury handbag. It cost a couple $100 at the time, market value. A bag my mother would never go out her way to go purchase herself. My mother took that handbag willingly. And to me, if you've been saying for years that a woman is a witch, wants to kill your husband, would you take a purse, a luxury handbag from that same person? Now, mind you, I'm not taking either side right now. I'm just stating facts right now. So, that's the best of the summary I can tell you right now. I just need y'all to know that context. Because right now in this moment, it's not a secret. For a while now, the famous came in collaboration to get rid of my aunt. Now, the fucked up part about the situation is that my aunt's husband, who is my mother's brother, um, has tried to beat, cancer twice. While my mother has claimed that my aunt be just doing my uncle dirty, leaving him to himself, not doing what she's supposed to do, however so she want to narrate it, or whatever's going on, it is messed up. Howsoever, we all in the same household. I like my mother would once every couple months go and check on we'll go look and see what my uncle had going on while being sick. It's not a consistent every day. It's not a once a week. So it's like I'm minding my business, because I ain't know what the I ain't. It's not. I don't want to say I don't care. It's just like I just until you know what, I'm not even gonna mention that. Because all glory be to God, scientifically we inherit the father's genes. My father don't got no problems in regards to health. That's on my mother's side of the family. I don't got no problems. No shit. So now the family collectively in spiritual union is trying to get rid of my aunt. And for a while now they've concocted this plan, and my whole thing is like, y'all already came together, y'all already been saying this thing for a while, and I haven't seen no result, but my uncle becomes sick, almost died twice, to my knowledge. So I've seen my aunt in a dream maybe twice now. And the most recent dream that I've had is very interesting. Let me talk about it real quick. It was more to the dream, but this is in specific context. I saw the other day in my dream, there was a light, very skin complexion woman in a living room. So, living room dreams are significant about what's happening right now in real lifetime. Now, with context, both my mother and my aunt are both fair, light-skinned women. And mind you, the women on my mother's side of it are fair, light-skinned women. Howsoever, every other child in the intermediate family from my mother's womb is all melanated. Now, it's where things get interesting before I continue with this dream. Let's add a little bit more context. My mother used to call me a lot of racial slurs growing up. Monkey, black, BITCH, etc., etc. Howsoever, my aunt has never, while being fair like has never to my face said any sort of racial slur, anything derogatory to me, not even anything mean. If anything, I ain't gonna hold my aunt kind of mean, but it's like it's a part of her personality. My mother, on the other hand, she just say whatever. My uncle is a light, fair skin complexion man. Not so much nowadays, but the irony. And my uncle, I've known since adolescence, is kind of like a colorist or racist. Because as you see my skin complexion, there's certain parts of my skin, like I'm like mulatto, but like certain parts of my skin, not my face right now, but like if you see, I don't know, like very light. You see like how you see my face, I'm gonna give it. You see how my arm is light, but then my face is a little darker. Like different types of like parts of my body, like more fair skin, and then it's like certain dark. It's like not even hyperpigmentation. It's just like that's just how the beauty of my skin is. My uncle made one racist, well not racist, colorist remark because like on YouTube, I don't know if you can see. So yeah, but like basically like I was saying, I'm fair skin on some sides, I'm a little darker on some sides. Like it's just like a mixture, a beautiful mixture at that, a beautiful coloration. I'll say instead. My uncle made one comment one time, and I was just like, wow. So I'm like, maybe it's from my mother's side of the family. He's seen like I had like the coloration where I'll be at my chest at that, where it'll be like fair skin and then a little darker skin, not like dark, but like no shade, but like the coloration was beautifully mixed. And he pointed at my chest and Alice's, and was like, this is when I was developing breasts at the time too. Beautiful, healthy breasts. And he was like, almost like some ill, like, he didn't say ill, but he basically paraphrasing. He was like, ill, like, you need to do something about that because like you too dark in these areas. You need like your skin up. Now my mother is known to like, and a lot like, and also my aunt also like a lot of minorities that like to bleach their skin. I never felt the need to do that. To be honest, after my uncle had said something like that to me, I actually looked at him differently. Now, in the dream, I saw a woman, light, fair skin complexion. Couldn't really make her out. I had a notion it was a mother figure. So, in the dream, she was taking all of my father's possessions down since my childhood. Like items that my father would do in regards to interior design, decoration, he would put in that same living room. Like the woman in the light fair skin room, she started just taking everything down, and then putting her own stuff up there. And the things she put up there were things in regards to her family's, the mother's side, lineage, all women. And there was now in my childhood there was this one interesting clock we used to have on the wall in the living room, and it used to have angels with trumpets, and you could spin it around like a fidget spinner, and it would make sound and stuff like that. We kept it there. We kept it for a very long time. I don't know what happened to it. Anywho, where that same clock was, there was a picture there. And the picture was it was so interesting because it was a picture, but it was a video within the picture. Behind where the light-skinned, fair complexion woman was. And in African culture, they have something called a traditional wedding, traditional marriage. No negativity on my life. I don't do spiritual marriages. Anyways, at traditional weddings, a traditional wedding is basically in Africa not the white wedding, where basically without a legally binding contract, you basically had to throw a party outside for everybody to see. And you get dressed up, you bring both families, the whole community, you perform rituals based on culture and tradition, and you just say, and then those said person who partake in the traditional wedding would say that they are married. So I seen a traditional wedding that I'm not sure if my aunt had. I'm pretty sure she did, and my mother both had a traditional wedding also. I've seen the pictures. Now, there were 3 people of significance in the crowd in regards to the traditional wedding. Now, in the dream, God let me know in narration that was my mother's wedding, the traditional wedding. Mind you, I was not yet conceived or born when that traditional wedding took place. Now, backstory. My mother told me, and our siblings, that before she got married, she had a best friend who tried to poison by food my father before they got married and they stopped being friends. No, because my mother, I really didn't like how she is. I'm not saying I didn't believe her, but I knew it had to be more to the story. Because why would your best friend just do that randomly? But you know, sometimes people are some type of way. So just keep that in mind. Not my mind. So she don't like I'm talking about this. But if you tell the truth, which is not to, well, that help. So at the side of my stomach also, I saw a friend that a previous friend that said that reminded me of my mother in certain ways, because she has an Aries moon. The last time I seen her, I was rubbing my belly like this. She's the same person that when I was, to become a mother, she told me after I conceived that she was one of the people one of two people who had told me, because it was a Virgo and Sagittarius previous friend I had, they told me after I conceived that I was praying for you to have a child. Now, there's nothing wrong for praying, but it was the intentions of praying for me to have a child because I had stuff I had to do at that time of my life, and it still does, and they thought me having a child was going to block my blessings. So they was praying for me to have children. Thanks. Anywho, so I seen her in the summertime after so I had seen the previous Sagittarius friend who had the Aries moon that reminded me of someone of my mother. I rubbed my stomach, and as of recent, it's this weird heat rash wanted to emerge at the same side where I was rubbing my stomach when I seen this previous friend. As soon as I started saying something about the traditional marriage and my mother, it started trying to do something, just God forbid. Anywho, in the dream, at the traditional wedding of my mother, I did not see my mother in the video within the picture. But what I did see was three significant people. There was two light, fair-skinned complexion women and a dark-skinned melanated woman. Now, I'm going to talk about the two light-skinned, fair-skinned women that was in the dream. One woman I've never met. Another woman that is my mother's sister, the baby sister. My mother's baby sister has never conceived children. And she's the baby of her siblings. With context, remind you, the Scorpio aunt, non-blood relative, also has not conceived children for a long. Now, that aunt, that's my mother's sister, the baby sister, she was on the right. In the middle was my aunt I never met, who was my mother's sister. I don't know if it was her older sister or the middle sister. I believe it was the older sister. Her name was Chi-Chi. Never got to meet her. My mother never talked about her. My parents really don't talk about certain family members. My aunt passed away mysteriously while giving childbirth. And the baby survived. Howsoever, the baby is the same name as my sibling. And the child is also melanated. Now, God forbid my life. Now, the dark-skinned melanated woman that was in the dream at the traditional wedding was very peculiar to me because, in narration, because she would not have been at the traditional wedding of my mother, the Aries. This is my mother's best friend, melanated woman, the only melanated best friend I have ever seen my mother have. This is a woman when the family was in trouble. She allowed my mother and her children to go stay at her house. This is a my mother previous bestie that would, watch us, babysit, came over to the house, all types of stuff. This is my mother bestie that I'm gonna get to that moment to explain to y'all. So, like I'm saying, this best friend of my mother previously was not around. They never formed a friendship when my mother got married. It wasn't until she came to America. My auntie Jama, a non-relative aunt, that was my mom's best friend, had mysteriously died after giving childbirth. Like literally, like basically, I guess my mother had got that phone call. My aunt went into labor. She had the baby. They didn't see her. She was alive and well. Everything was good. Like everything was good with her. The nurse left the room. She took a nap. She died. That is the only friend. There's been relatives in my mother's family that have died. There's been God forbid my life. What are you hardened, bitch? Get the fuck out of here with that shit. But anyways, I'm saying that in regards to me. Anyways, because you ain't gonna wish that on me though. Anyways, God forbid. But in regards to a non-relative aunt, that's my mother's bestie, the only melanated friend, bestie friend I ever seen my mother have, being a fair skin, light skin complexion woman. She died under mysterious circumstances. Like, the way it was narrated was that she gave birth, her vitals was fine, the nurse stepped out the room, came back, she was cold and dead. That's the only person I ever seen my mother cry and weep for profusely. My mother had a business with somebody overseas, and the person she said she had a dream that the person needed help or something like that. So she tried to send the person money just to find out that the person was like starving or hungry. There's somebody she was in business with, and then after she gave the person money for food or something like that, the person mysteriously died. And she didn't cry for that person. She was just angry that once the person died, because it was overseas, that she didn't have access to their accounts. That's the type of what I got, y'all. Like, I'm not surprised. I'm not shocked. This is like her personality. This is not a F you to my mother or anything like that. This is just because I need y'all to understand the point of view where I'm coming from and narration of where we're going with the scenario, because my mother might not be in the wrong for what I'm about to ask. But you need to know the context of both people. What I know about my aunt, the Scorpio, that's been said to be a witch for many years. Yeah, everybody can kumbaya with her, but they want her gone. Is that she keeps to herself. She owns her own business. Even though they might not have liked how she wasn't able to take care of my uncle the way they wanted her to, she didn't have no choice. She had to go make a living. She can't be hand and feet on the man all day when, there's certain expenses. It's not cheap to take care of a sick person. God forbid on my right hand. God forbid my life being in that type of scenario. My aunt has always used the infamous quote, like, don't be a lazy person. Now, this is coming from a neutral point of view right now, because supposedly in this collaboration, my aunt is supposed to be taken out before January 2026, but I want to make sure that we get in the act with a person. Because whomever out the two is the real culprit, is the person behind my face, previously looking some type of way, even after not being hurt on my face after that. So I only know I don't speak to my aunt like that because of my family. Whenever I see her, I try to help her with mundane things. Howsoever, I know what my mother be getting into the nation. So it's just like I never really seen it with my aunt. The amount of money just on one occasion my aunt has given me, my mother has never given me. And that's not to make me a money hungry person. But I'm just saying it speaks volumes. While my mother and my father, for whatever reason, have been against me getting married, but smile on my face and want me to get married, saying they want me to get married. My aunt, but never really mentioned it. My aunt, verbatim, paraphrasing, has said on multiple occasions that her desire for me to get married, her desire is for me to be happy, her desire is for me to, while my mother used to make jokes about me wanting to do fashion, anything related to fashion, my mother has made jokes and laughed about me pursuing my music career. My aunt has encouraged me. So it's just like, we gotta figure this out. Message at the top of the deck is I am beautiful. My aunt has only said good words of endearment to me, no pun intended. My aunt has, my whole life, only said good things to me in regards to alchemy manifestation, while my mother has not. They want me to collaborate and say that this, but I've never in my spirit, in my body, my mind, ever in my life felt as though like I had to intervene in regards to them wanting to get rid of my aunt. Until now. I'm not saying I'm neutral right now because we're about to find the answer. God, is it the Aries mother or the Scorpio? That is the true witch, and is the person who's going to be alive by 2026 January. Before that, because I said something about a week and 4 days. This one came out reverse. Cancer came out reverse. What's the opposite of Cancer? Capricorn. God, I thank you for love from genuine people, places, and outcomes that favors me. I obtain love and choose to help lovers and investments, including mine. I use my spiritual message. I use my creative energy to maintain external and internal focus. I am self-confidence inside and out. I am optimistic because I have beautiful vision. I am a valuable, unforgettable person. All that support me in a positive manner shall receive instant blessings. Thank you, God. Power is in my voice and actions. The Holy Spirit is with me right now. I'm not like sad or anything like that. I'm just feeling the energy, and it's just like activities and converting information and individual transaction into financial statements. What does money have to do with this? God mentions me in the best and greatest of placements. So, like, real quick, in my culture, the eldest child is usually the child that's supposed to take care of the family. But predominantly they rather it be men based on culture and tradition. Howsoever, two things. One, they, if I'm not mistaken, in the year somewhere between 2020, I want to say in the year 2021, it was so significant. Not going back to that year, somewhere between 2021 and 2023, my country has put into legislative, and mind this is a tradition been going on for decades, almost centuries. I'm telling you, where in regards of investments within the family, will go to the eldest male son. It wasn't until the year 2021 or to 23 that they put into legislature statutes that women who are female firstborns cannot inherit their inheritance regardless of not being a man. Also in my culture, especially predominantly if you come from a wealthy family, if it's not your biological parents, the grandparents usually leave an investment for the eldest child. And I've been being told since my childhood that there was an investment left for me, and somebody could have tried to tamper with that, or somebody could have tried to do something to me negatively so that I would not receive it. I am confident, have beautiful self-esteem, self-belief, great energy, and maintain protection with myself and my businesses. God mentions me in the best and greatest of places. Right now, so Cancer card came in reverse. It's not my uncle. He's saying something about my father. God just told me basically yesterday that it is fucked up to say, but I'm not surprised. My father did some sort of manifestation ritual. Don't beat me up. Go right to the God. I don't play that. I'm a cop caller now. My God told me yesterday that, and He showed it to me physically. God told me that my father did one or two things, and I got confirmation about it also in church. That no shade, not to put you on blast, man, God, but this is something that the person slipped up and told me anyways. Not the man of God, but my father. That my father did something with some money, or did some sort of divination. I'm gonna just say put it like that. Where in order for him to gain money, read in between the lines. In order for my father to gain money, he had to ensure a delay or me not getting married at all. God forbid my life. My birth chart literally says I'm married into wealth. You're dumb. Protection. God, I always thank you in advance. Thank you. Cancer in reverse is Capricorn. Capricorn in regards to what industry I'm in. Capricorn in regards to a father figure. Capricorn, yeah. Capricorn means another thing. In reverse, so in reverse, the card reads, "Thank you for my beauty. God forgot my life. I use my leadership skills to inspire myself and others to always accomplish my goal." Leadership will be in regards to Aries. So even that this card came in reverse, it's like I'm gaining justice. This person didn't want me to accomplish my goals. This person didn't want me to be a leader. Authoritative leaders would be Taurus, Libra, Aquarius. I know what prominent zodiacs in either or of my parents that they have that. This person didn't want me to be beautiful. I'm a full, complete Venus placement, prominent placement. Venus placements are Gemini, Taurus, and Libra. My mother is an Aries. My father is a Libra. My aunt is a Scorpio. Did you hear anything about Scorpio? Out of all the zodiacs that you mentioned just now. And then God said, "I thank you for love from genuine people, places, and outcomes that favors me. I obtain love and choose to help lovers' investments, including mine." My mother ain't never was like, "Oh my gosh, I think you can do this," and I believe in you. In fact, she laughed in my face. God forgive my life. I continue to have fun and look beautiful. Thank you, God, receive it. Thank you, God, going shopping. Thank you, I receive it. So there you have it, folks. I I'm now in my like young adult years. My whole life, my mother, the Aries, have been saying that the Scorpio has been the witch, and they're trying to take everybody out in the family. But has tried to compile a group of people in the family to go against this aunt. And now it's like it's about to be a vaccine reverse. I'll let you know what the results are when it happened before the January 2026. Also, just to find out that the witch is actually my biological, and that my father tried to do money ritual. But I've talked to you guys about this about when he when my mother allowed him to take me overseas and he tried to do a gold ritual. And it didn't work because it was incomplete. That's the message. Matter of fact, real quick message. If you're going through anything like this, if anything like this sounds similar to whatever you've had going on, please speak out, because that's the only way for a back to sender reversal to happen. If you keep quiet, it's going to get worse. God forbid my life. And as I've been speaking out about this for the previous week, keep reiterating all this stuff for the previous week, my face has been healing up. Go to my previous video. Look at my face, yo. And mind you, this type of stuff I used to be getting on my face when I was a child, randomly, before being a preteen. God forbid my life. God, thank you, God. Thank you, God, each and every day for the blessings you bestow upon my life. God, continue to bless me. No one can curse my cards. Continue to bless my health. Continue to bless my stomach. Continue to bless my womb. Nobody can ever do any type of divination against me, irregardless if they are my biological parent. Any person who is an enemy to me, may you instantly with uncommon speed serve me justice and handle the people who claim to me as an enemy, whether directly or indirectly, in the same manner that they tried to do me. Thank you, God, for answering my prayers, and I expect results with uncommon speed.